Hello Virgo, and welcome to your new moon lunar cycle insight video for the new moon beginning in your sign on the 9th of September and culminating as we move to the dark moon period in Libra just before the new moon rises in the sign of the scales on the 8th of October. So happy birthday, Virgo. We have the sun moving through your sign. We have Mercury moving through your sign. And this time of the year is really your time to shine. It's where you can allow yourself to express yourself fully, to really know and honor the gifts and talents that you naturally have as a Virgo person. That innate discipline, devotion, attention to detail, the ability to structure and organize. These are all beautiful gifts that are much needed in the world at this time. And of course, your ability to help, to heal. I always think of Virgo as the sign of the priestess, but also of the Earth Mother, the great healer, and we know that you are a sign that is naturally inclined to help and heal and support and give to others. So all of these energies can be amplified for you at this time as the planets align in your own constellation. We've also got beautiful earth trines forming as Mercury moves into your sign just before the new moon. And he's aligning with that Saturn in Capricorn, who's just gone direct in your 5th house of creativity and authentic self-expression. And with Uranus in Taurus, who is helping you to awaken even more powerfully on a spiritual level in your 9th house. So this is a beautiful time for you to begin to ground your ideas and inspirations, to begin to think about what your goals and visions are for the next 12-month cycle as you go through your solar return. And of course, the new moon being in your sign is an even more powerful portal of manifestation for you. So this gives you the opportunity to really set some intentions, to really think about the things that you wish to ground into your life as you go into your new year, your new solar year. This moon is going to be opposed by Neptune in Pisces, who's been in your 7th house for a very, very long time. And this can really highlight for you, Virgo, that energy of balance between the self and the other. So we can really see here where you have been perhaps overgiving, lacking discernment, lacking boundaries, allowing your time and energy to be drained, being a little bit less productive than you could have been because you've spent all of your energy, giving and caring for others. It can also highlight, the self-sabotaging patterns that you may perpetuate in relationships, and also the addictions and the toxic behaviors that keep you from reaching your fullest potential. So there's also an element of purification, of gaining clarity, of really deciding how you wish to progress forward and how you wish to use your time and energy from this moment on as the new moon rises in the sky. And this is further amplified by Venus moving into Scorpio on the same day as the new moon. So Venus is going to go retrograde during this lunar cycle, and she moved into her shadow period in Libra in your 2nd house on the 2nd of September. But today she moves into Scorpio, where she will be spending most of her retrograde journey over the next 6 weeks. So the themes that are arising now will be the ones that you will be doing some deep inner work around as the Love Goddess backtracks through the underworld in the sign of the Dark Goddess, in the sign of the Alchemist. So it's going to be a powerful time of regeneration, of shedding the old for all of us in relation to Venusian activities, relationships, emotional connections, self-worth, resources, and finances. Whichever house or houses she will be retrograding through can give extra indication of the areas of our lives that might be even more profoundly affected by this retrograde. So for you, Venus is going to be moving through your second and third houses. So she's going to station retrograde in your third house of communication, of Gemini, of the throat chakra. So we can see that this retrograde period is going to be for you, Virgo, a lot about learning how to vocalize your desires, vocalize your deepest truths, learning how to really share your thoughts and feelings and, you know, how you authentically feel rather than worrying about what other people are thinking. This can be a time of really weeding out the old mental programs as well. The third house can also rule over, you know, the nervous system and the neural pathways. So we may find that we are doing some deep recalibration and reprogramming about how we express ourselves in the world and in our relationships, and particularly in our friendships, because the third house can also rule over our social networks and connections. So there may be an element here of shedding some old connections, shedding some old friendships, having to let go of things that aren't working in those areas, and, you know, also in the wider network and the wider community as well, and also technologically based. So we might find ourselves having to do a purge of our social media and other online activities as well. So Venus will actually station retrograde in your station direct in your second house, which is ruled over by Libra, and this is the house of resources and finances and self-worth. It's one of the houses that Venus naturally rules over for you, Virgo. So with Venus retrograding here, we can see that the second part of her journey, when she re-enters Libra on Samhain Eve, often known as Halloween, that you will be turning your attention more to learning how to value yourself and knowing that you deserve to receive for all of the good work that you do in the world. So this could be a time when you're kind of thinking, oh, are the people that I'm giving to, are these friends and networks and communities that I'm giving to, do they really value me? And is that a reflection of how I am valuing myself? Perhaps there's some old programs around self-worth that need to be cleared so you can open up to receive more, and you should be doing some deep clearing work around how much prosperity you believe you're willing to receive as well, Virgo. So after this retrograde period is finished, you may notice changes and new opportunities and new friendships and new connections coming in, but you have to be willing to shed the old before that can happen. So on the 23rd of September, we reach the equinox point. And for those of us in the northern hemisphere, this is the descent into darkness, which is quite appropriate with all of this scorpionic activity going on. For those of you in the southern hemispheres, you'll be coming into the spring equinox, the rebirthing, the time of seeding, of, you know, really reawakening and reclaiming the fire after the long winter months. So wherever you are, the equinox point, the day that the sun moves into Libra, is a time of balance. We have the day and night equal length, the sun and the moon in balance, in harmony. So this is a time for us to really think about the balance in our lives the harmony in our lives, the harmony in our relationships. From this point on, the wheel of the year really turns to calling us to focus on our partnerships, on the balance of self versus other in our life. So it's really echoing the sentiment that we began the month with the Virgo New Moon opposing Neptune in your 7th house. So as the Sol Star and Mercury, the messenger, cross the equinox point, they will be lighting up your 2nd house. So here we can see the issues that I mentioned earlier around the equal giving and receiving of resources, of time and energy being really highlighted. And as they cross this point, they will be opposing Chiron in Aries, who moved into your 8th house, Virgo, back on the 17th of April this year, starting a whole new cycle of learning and healing around the scorpionic themes of intimacy, sexuality, power, alchemy, death and rebirth. And as these two energies oppose, we are also going to be having a full moon in Aries in that 8th house in conjunction with Chiron. So this is going to be a really powerful time for you to see how far you have come learning these lessons, to see how deep the healing has gone, since April this year. This is a point of culmination where it's the harvest moon, so it's a time where we get to look back and see, okay, this is what I've accomplished. This is how far I've come, and we begin a whole new cycle. So this can bring up lots of issues around the scorpionic themes of sensuality, sexuality. And when we're working with the Libra Aries axis and the Venus and Mars energies, we are also working with the balance of the masculine and feminine within us. So there may be some recalibration that needs to be done. We're all this month going to be learning about the Hieros Gamos, the inner marriage. And Chiron's movement into Aries this year has been having us all look at the wounded masculine within us and within our world. It's been calling us to call back our power in the area that Chiron has been transiting. So with Venus, in the sign of the dark feminine as well, we can see that there's a real theme here of learning how to accept and honor the shadow masculine and the shadow feminine within us and within our world. So it's a very, very potent moon, and for you it could be a real initiation into honoring your deeper, more hidden emotions and psychological processes, Virgo. So after the full moon, Chiron's going to go back into Pisces, back into your 7th house where he was for 7 years before his shift into Aries earlier this year. So this is where we can kind of feel like there is some perhaps victim savior mentality going on. This could be us wanting to rescue everybody else, or this could be us wanting someone to come outside of us to come and save us. So we're kind of revisiting the themes that we were learning for the previous 7 years. And Chiron's going to be back in Pisces, back in that 7th house, from the 26th of September until the 18th of February 2019. So we have this window of opportunity to clear up the things that we didn't work through during the previous transit of Chiron through Pisces. So as we can see, this month is really taking on the theme of relationship, of inner harmony, of inner balance, of knowing our boundaries, of knowing our worth. And on the 5th of October, Venus will officially station in Scorpio in that 3rd house. So that's when you'll start to feel the themes that I discussed earlier in the video really starting to amplify as the journey really, powerfully begins for us all. And then we will be in the dark moon period as we approach the new moon in Libra, which will be in that second house. So it's a good time for you to set intentions of the things that you wish to tangibly manifest in your life, the financial assistance you need, the support that you need, and the abundance that you need. And this moon's going to be in square to Pluto, who is currently in your 5th house with Saturn, with the cosmic taskmaster. So we can really see themes of here of learning how to love the self and transforming any patterns of unworthiness that may be blocking the flow of receptivity. But we will talk a little bit more about that next month, Virgo, when we reach that new moon. I'm just going to pick a card for you, and we are working at this time with the Goddess Oracle by Amy Sophia Marashinki. And I've chosen these cards because of the divine feminine energies that really permeate this month and the coming months, really, as Venus finishes up her journey. Let's pick a card for Virgo. Baba Yaga, the wild woman, it says on this card. Oh, hello, I've got Lilith the cat joining us as well. So this card is all about unleashing your inner wild woman. And that's really interesting because the big theme I feel for this Venus retrograde in Scorpio and Libra is going to be asking us all how we relate to that shadow feminine that has been vilified and persecuted for thousands of years. What we might call the witch, the sorceress, the seductress, very much that energy of Lilith being discarded from the Garden of Eden. So you may find that you're very tuned into this energy that's rising in the collective, Virgo. You may feel the need to release yourself from societal expectations and opinions and ideas and projections and just really get to know and express your deepest authentic essence. So it's a potent time for you reclaiming yourself. And I think for all of us during this period, we'll be calling back those soul fragments, calling back those parts of ourselves that we have suppressed or denied, we've deemed unspiritual or unlovable, as Venus retrogrades through Scorpio. So it's an exciting and transformative time. Thank you so much for listening to me, Virgo. If you would like to connect with me further, I will put the links for my Facebook pages and groups below this video. I'm sending you lots of love for this lunar cycle.